All right, I think I might be streaming here. This is the first time I've been doing this in a little while, so hopefully everyone can hear me. Welcome to Joy of Illustrating. I did a few of these live streams in the past, but never with voice, so you hear me now, you hear my crazy East Coast accent. I'm gonna try and do these weekly at this time. So I'm also going to try and come up with a schedule as to some of the different things that I can do during this time. So every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern. This week I'm going to be going over the work we did on the Firefox logo, just updating it back in 2013, just showing how we optimized it for SVG and for mobile. Next Thursday, I'm thinking maybe I will go over how I created the Mozilla as My Dinosaur artwork, show some of the effects and techniques that I use there. So, without further ado, are you ready? Here's my desktop. All right, and there I am. Whoop, whoop. Look at me down the little corner there. All right, so what you see here on the desktop is just an overview of the different logos from back in the day. You'll see the first one there from 2004. That's the one that John Hicks created. Then the 2005 to 2009 one is the one I think most people kind of remember. It seems to be used quite a bit when people are referencing Firefox, sometimes within the press, which makes me kind of sad, but you see the newer one here. 2009 to 13, that one was in use for a good little while, and then in 2013 we optimized it over to this one here on the far right, and we did that keeping mobile in mind and small screens, but also so that when we do share the logo in vector, it can be opened as an SVG, because some people don't have the Adobe products there and use other products to edit vectors. So let's move down. So down here I have the old logo from 2009 to 2013, and the new logo alongside of it. And you'll see we have all of the fancy little vectors there. As I said, the old logo wasn't really optimized for when you'd shrink it down. This glow up at the top would cause some issues, and there was all of the continent detail here would kind of get a bit muddy, and we wanted to try and clean that up and see what we could do and kind of simplify it, but not, I say simplify it, but simplify the look, not simplify in take out detail, because we actually added detail in the newer version of the logo. So I'm just going to start tearing this one apart just to show you. I'm going to ungroup it just to show you. Let me ungroup again. Just going to keep on ungrouping this thing. All right, so just take the shadow off the bottom here. Get rid of that. And so you'll see some of these shapes that I'm going to tear off of here. Oh God, look at that. Kind of get a sense of how the fox was built. So let's keep tearing him apart here. Hope any animal activists organizations don't mind me tearing apart the fox here, but so here's pieces. Whoops, that's part of the globe. I should put that back. I'm sure there's a happy little tree down on that globe somewhere in the. You can see all of this little fur detail, and now this fur detail, if you look at it, if you go into the transparency, it's set to screen, and those kind of Adobe specific transparency settings. SVG kind of has a doesn't really like those. The SVG is very happy with pure gradients. So that's one thing that when I go into the new logo, I'll go over. So I'm just kind of still tearing this one apart just to show you the complexity of the detail. And, you know, oh, there's the snout, there's the nose. And one thing here, I'm gonna go back. Let's see. Hopefully Illustrator doesn't fall apart. There we go. So I'm just gonna put it back together here. So just showing you some of the detail and showing you the transparency settings mainly. That's the main thing. That's one of the main things we had to look at when making it so that it was it played nice with SVG. So I'm going to put him over here for now. Okay, happy little logo there in the upper left-hand corner. So let me bring this guy up here. So this is the current logo, and you'll see one of the things you may notice actually here. Let me bring him back. The continents have changed, and one of the reasons we did that was because we wanted more detail, because we not only were we bringing it to mobile, but we were also dealing with new things like Retina display, where we have, you know, super high pixels per inch, and we wanted to get some of that extra detail in there for the screens, you know, for the screens that could handle it, and also for, you know, when we're making billboards and posters and things like that, people be able to see the extra artwork in there, and so that is one of the reasons we added some more of that detail. Another thing that we did, if you look, I started adding small little bits of fur and little clips, kind of small little details, just again for when it was blown up and on a billboard or something like that, you had a little bit of that extra detail in there. So let me tear this apart a bit. Bye-bye, old logo. I'll put you up there. And actually, I'm going to turn you off. There we go. Oops. There. Now, I'm just going to open up the layers here and just take a look. So it's fairly complex. But one thing that I did do was simplify it a little bit when it came to how it is built. And again, that was for SVG. So you may have noticed there was a bunch of, here, actually, I'm going to go back to the logo that I just, where are you? There you are. So one thing to notice about this one, a lot of the details within the Fox itself, it's you can see it's kind of layered on top of a, let me see if I can, I'm just going to keep moving stuff around. Okay, so the base shape of the Fox, minus the ear, is just a pure gradient. And the details, if I release the clipping mask, you'll see it's different details that are you know, masked in with a clipping mask, and it's not all part of the single shape. So let me just get rid of him. I just want to show you how it was simplified for the new logo. So I'm going to take off, and I did use it a little bit for some of the detail, but the base shape, there's another one. The base shape is one solid solid gradient, and I'll just show you. So see, we move the gradient around, it's masked within that shape. I did this so that what I wanted to do is make it so that there was less layers for SVG to have to manage, and trying to consolidate some of the detail and stripping some out, but kind of consolidating it into less layers. Wasn't that easy, but some stuff, you basically just leave out, and we did, and I think it makes for a cleaner logo. One thing to show, I'm just going to start stripping this out piece by piece just to show you all of the different parts of the logo. So here's the fur. Here, let me put the fox down here. I can actually make a nice poster just of the logo and all of its parts. Not Lever 2000. This is an edge detail that we put on down along the edge of the logo. You saw it went around there, and that was it was interesting because as we were testing this, I added that. It just brings that little bit of extra definition out when it is on. Sometimes we have it's an orange and blue logo, but sometimes we have it on an orange background. And I found that some of the orange down at the bottom was kind of blending into the orange background, so I created this darker edge so that there was a bit more definition there. Bring the shadow and put it over here. Poor little guy, he's been torn apart. So this is some fur that was, as detail, was in behind the globe that was kind of sticking off the back of his neck. Let's go in and look at some of this fur. The fur, I always thought, the way it wraps around the globe like that, it looks very much like an artichoke in the way it's built, and I always thought that was really cool. And that was when we were creating the most recent mascot for Firefox. When I was giving direction to the team that was building out the fox itself, the fox suit, that's one of the things that I said was the inspiration for getting the tail right is to look at an artichoke and see how an artichoke is built. That's how the fire in the tail on the mascot should be layered. So there's the tail. You just see it's just it's just shapes, and each of the shapes, if you look here, is just instead of having detail put in with opacity or using some of those screen and overlay opacity settings, they're all pure gradients, and they weren't prior, and that's the main thing that we did to get it so that it would play nice with the SVG format, was to take out any of the Adobe specific filters, I guess you could call them, so that it would render correctly in SVG. So let me just move these over here. So here's his tail. He has a shoulder now too. That was another thing that we did, was brought out his arm from in behind. So his arm was kind of sticking out of his chest in all the other versions, really dating back to 2004. So one thing that I wanted to do was kind of give him a bit of a shoulder. So you can see here that his arm now comes from on top. It was something that I always wanted to do, and when I was given the opportunity to update the logo, it was like, hooray, adding a shoulder. So let's go back down. And I keep calling it a he, but it isn't really a he, it's a fox. It isn't a man or woman, so it is our mascot. We take the snout off of here, and these are the different elements of the snout. ungroup that one. You see they're all, once again, pure gradients, just basically overlaying on top. Now these are all separate layers, especially these two here. So this one and this one, you'll see that they're the same shape, but they have different gradients on them. And one thing I would just want to show you, some people may not know this, I really like it, is so you have a basic shape. Let's just change the color on this maybe. Where's my... So here you have a basic shape. If you open up the appearance panel, so this is the main fill that we have right now. I just made it a pink fill. If I create a new layer within there, I can then go in and with the gradient, add a gradient, and let me just edit it. And this is how I do a lot of the detail work. Just within that same shape, put some gradients on there. So there's one. Let me just, I'm going to add another fill. Hopefully you can see this in the video, but I'm just adding more fills within the appearance panel within Adobe Illustrator. And then what I can do is go and change the color here. I'm going to make, please don't do this to our logo. Oh God. So just playing around with it. Wow, this is, if I start crying, it's just because I'm being mean to our logo right now. And you can see, you know, you can add detail, and this is a great way. It's kind of how when I'm doing logos for Mozilla and in general, it's how I can basically make a 2D illustration look 3D. So you can get all of your lighting and give something shape just by layering gradients. 3D programs still confuse me. I don't understand the interface to them, and well, they just scare me in general. I have nightmares about them. So I like working in 2D, and I like trying to make images look as if they were 3D rendered. I try to make them as realistic as possible. I've been doing it for a while. You know, good Lord, probably 12 years now. So I just wanted to show you that technique where you can go in and with the appearance panel layer gradients in order to build up detail, and you know, you can build up you know, ambient light on the side of a face, that kind of thing. So it's pretty cool what you can do there. Let me just get rid of all this silliness. Okay, I'm going to put you back. Oh, he was already up there. Okay. So now the arm. You can just start to see, here's some of the fur down on the bottom. Here's the little pieces of fur on his paw. Hopefully you can hear me with this microphone. I bought a new microphone just for doing this series of live streams. Hopefully I have a radio voice. Okay. Then we have the globe here, and you'll see that there's a very faint shadow that we have the Firefox sitting on, and that's masked in there. Let me release the clipping mask on that so there you can see. So that was just a shadow that was clipped to the space within the globe. So it's just that basic shape again that is right here. That's the basic uniform shape. And then just you know, if you look over here on the gradient panel, just a straight up gradient, and then if you go into the transparency, it's at 60%, just to have a bit of that in behind. And if you look, here is one of the, so this is the glow on the Earth, so you'll see there it is without. Put it back. That glow is added just in case the logo is used on a dark blue background. It was kind of blending in a bit too much at the top, so I put that up there, and it also gives it a bit, it makes it a bit more of a sphere versus a disc. And then here is a little glow. Now you'll see this glow up here, and you'll see where there's a hard edge going along when it comes over by the tail. And the reason I put that there is for a little bit of consistency, because I was planning for making a one color logo. And I put that little detail there as a hint at what would be used in the one color logo. Let me bring that to front. So here's the one color logo, and you have the detail where the fur goes in behind the globe and that, but it was this bar that we needed. Oh yeah, there's my accent, you heard it, bar. This bar at the top was needed in order to connect the fox and give a hint at the globe. I'm from Nova Scotia, so that's why I say bar the way I do. Thank you very much. So you'll see it just fits in right there, and that's the reason I put that detail there. I mean, nobody's really going to notice it all that much. I will notice it, and it's just one of those fun little things. So there's the one color logo. I'm going to put him up there and continue breaking down the Firefox logo here. So I'm going to put this up here, and again, this is just a shape mask with a gradient in there. Just play with the gradient. Ooh, see, bring it in. So again, it's just a clipping mask with a single gradient. Bring it back to that, and then we have our globe here, and this is all the continents on here are new, thanks to Stephen Horlander, who recreated them for us. They are all fancy and whatnot. Here, I'll just haul them off of the globe. And you can see all of the details. So all of this detail is in our nightly logo and was in our Aurora logo. It's also in the Firefox Developer Edition logo. And the Firefox for iOS logo. Firefox for iOS, out today. I repeat, out today. Check for it on the store. So you'll see it right here. You just change the opacity on it. Where are you? There you are. So it was at 50% opacity. So you'll see, and these colors, I kept the same colors that were in the previous versions of the Firefox logo, and they eventually, when we were creating a unified color palette for Mozilla, they kind of dictated what our Firefox light blue and Firefox dark blue, what those colors were. So here you see there's lots of awesome detail in these continents. Did a great job on the nightly logo. I believe there's a stream. Might be on this YouTube channel. Might not be. There's a stream that shows how I created the nightly logo, and it was actually finding the different spots on the globe where I thought potentially a city or town could be, and it was just adding individual dots in there. And then I created a road system going through, so it was kind of like, if there were inhabitants of the Firefox globe, where would they live? And, you know, I was thinking historically, well, inside of an inlet here would be a perfect place to colonize and form a little town. So I was always putting big cities within the bay areas of these little nooks and crannies on the continent. So another little detail. And here you have the base logo. Oh, look at this little island. Little island I forgot to change. Oh, there's an Easter egg. Uh-oh. Well, I'll pack my things. No, I'm just kidding. Delete him. And there's the base logo. Oh, and look at that. There's another little edge. And that edge, again, was for putting the detail in. Just so that there was a little bit of edge definition when you were putting it on dark blue or light blue background. So there are all the pieces of the Firefox logo. There's really, when you look at it like this, there really isn't that many. It's just how you overlay it. Like I said, I might do a neat poster or something where I have the logo in full at the top, and then have all of the different elements kind of maybe organized by size or color or something like that, kind of down below it. It'd be a fun little poster or wallpaper to create, just showing the many layers of the Firefox logo. So one other little thing I wanted to show here was the iOS logo. And now the iOS logo isn't that much different from the current logo. Just bring it up here and put it up next so you can see it. But what I did do was strip out a lot of detail and lighten some of the colors, basically looking at the iOS environment and seeing and in with the iOS environment. But we can tweak it a little bit in order to make it look as if it feels a bit more native to the area. So you can see some of the shading details were taken out, and it was basically done so that you know, it's on a white background. So just it gives it a nice, soft, glowy kind of feel, make you feel good kind of feel on a white background. So we did that just to have a little bit more of a feeling that, you know, this kind of adapting to his environment, you know, changing his coat for the winter kind of thing. If you wanna see this Firefox for iOS icon in action, you can get it from the so that and like I said, if you wanna see this Firefox for iOS icon in action, you can get it from the iTunes store today. It was launched today, and it was one of the reasons that I did this as my live stream today, just to I had made all of these changes back in 2013, and so it's about time that I actually kind of show how they were done. So I think that's it for showing this logo. Like I said, next week I'm going to probably be looking at Mozilla's My Dinosaur artwork and showing you how that was drawn with pencil sketch within Photoshop, and then I incorporated some Illustrator vectors, and I'll just show you some of the different filters and textures that I used in order to create that artwork that we used back in the 2013 summit, and that some people still use as their wallpaper. And then beyond that, I think what I'm going to do is create a section on my blog, blog.seanmartell.com, where I will have a schedule of some of the different elements that I'll probably be showing on this show weekly. And maybe, you know, give an opportunity for you folks to maybe request what you'd like to see on here. So maybe it's drawing something from scratch, or maybe it's doing a breakdown like this. But beyond that, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And I just wanted to end it on a little, I gave a talk at All Things Open down in Raleigh last year, and one thing that I spoke of was designing in the open and doing some of these live streams. And one thing that I mentioned was just with social media and everything nowadays, it's easy to go online and kind of cut up other people's work and cut up the work of other designers. And I just wanted to point out that, you know, I call those people twitics, where they go on and they criticize other people. And I consider designers a family, and, you know, for the people who go out there and cut up other people's work on social media, there may come a day where you actually, you know, have to work with that person, and, you know, it really kind of changes the way that person would look at you. You know, if you're out there kind of being high and mighty about little things, just the key thing is remember that there's people behind these designs, and not just a corporation or a company or an organization. You know, there's actual designers behind the artwork that you do see. So before you go online, and if you have criticism, make it constructive, and maybe reach out to the individual designer versus trying to get a good snarky laugh on Twitter. So that's my little positive note. Negative, but keep it positive. That's my message for the end of this. So thank you very much, and I will see you next week at 1 p.m. Eastern on Thursday.